All right.
Um,
Okay.
Morning was good though.
This morning was good.
Hi everyone.
Hey, Danny. How are you?
Good mate.
I had a first hiccup with Magic Keys the other day with my VPS. And so I had and the trade copier was a bit strange actually. I don't think there's actually anything wrong with the trade copier, but on the Magic Keys, I don't know what it was, but it's after we finished, and I saw an opportunity in like New York session, and price on Nas price had, you see, like where was it? Where's my level? Yeah, there we go. This is the one. I get kind of confused with the two NASs that I have here, one on Forex.com and one on Pepperstone. I annotated Pepperstone, but I didn't annotate Forex.com. You see, like old annotation is from like ways down here, and I saw this level. See this like little triple wick area where price like grinded up here on Thursday last week, and then from here it pushed up, and it had one little retest, and then it pushed up, and I was like, well, it hasn't like fully broken it yet. So price dived down into this zone yesterday, and I thought, this is potentially a good opportunity here, and I was I was a little bit caught with who was telling fib here, because Nas was dumping and US 30 was pumping, and I was like, this is kind of unusual. Like, I've seen it a few times, but still unusual that that they go in opposite directions like heavily. So last time it was Nas. Oh, where's my coffee? There it is. Last time it was Nas that caught up eventually, and then as the price came down, I just thought, oh, I'm just going to pop a little sneaky buy on here, and I put a buy on Magic Keys onto my terminal on the VPS, because I was just operating it from the phone. It's a pain doing it from the phone, and I looked at it, and I try not look at the terminal to see like how the trade is doing. Um, I just sort of just watch it, make sure that's going on, and watch it. And then it was going up pretty nicely, but then we had a midwife appointment at 4:30. So what I did was like it sort of bounced pretty quickly. It was just going to be a little scalp, and I closed it. So this is pretty much precisely here as it came down, executed onto got into it about, like, say, about here somewhere, and then as price pushed up, just filled this area. I just closed it, and then I thought, I'll just see how much that was worth, and it was on the prop account was absolutely fine. On the personal account, it had put a trade on somehow. Magic Keys had, because I think I had both MT5s open. I had the Pepperstone one, which is my personal, on the side, and then I've got the prop account MT5 open at the same time. The Pepperstone
You
one,
need some more accounts, mate. Shit.
the Pepperstone one was on German 40. The proper one was on NAS, but somehow when I set the trade up with Magic Keys, it had also set it up in the background on this MT5. So it put the trade on the prop account, and then it copied it across to my personal. But at the same time, it did it put when I put the trade on NAS, it put the trade on German 40 at the same time. You know what I mean? So bizarre. So I had two trades on personal, one trade on NAS, and then when price had pushed up, I'd actually lost on my personal, because German was going downtown at that time. So, like, this is the time. It was just to see this candle here. So this is roughly the same time that 4:06 time. So I'll just put them side by side. so bizarre. I don't remember. I was like, how do I take? I didn't remember taking a loss on German yesterday. I don't remember us taking winning trades. And then I looked at the time. I'm like, hey, I didn't trade New York session. But it was so bizarre, man. It was so 406. 406 says this is the. Oh no, it must be a little bit later. 418. So 418 when I bought going up, but on German 40 it was 418. Oh, this candle, yeah, that's the one. 418 was this candle, and then I closed it like literally here. That was when this one here was pushing up, and I closed NAS literally for a profit at this point. And then at the same time, it closed when I just hit close all, it closed my German one. So I bought here and I stopped out here. So freaking sucks, man. I was gotta investigate that issue. But at least it kind of was offset by the NAS trade, but still took a loss anyway. And investigate. I've never had that happen before, where it's been able to take it. It's been able to operate two MT5s at the same time. So go figure. I'll work it out. Anyway, so yesterday we got a few minutes before the open. So German 40, we got news on today. We've got just US news actually. We don't have any low impact. Not really anything nothing for us to worry about anyway. Okay. Let's just see if Dave's here. Did Dave get in? Yeah, Dave's here.
I mean,
you're here, mate. All right.
I am.
So, yesterday I was looking for buys in this day, and wait, am I on the wrong one again? I've got to go. This chart is my analysis. So, I was looking for buys initially yesterday, and the question was that I was working out. I wasn't particularly happy with the zones that we're at, but we did have New York low just this kind of like area where New York kind of rejected on Monday, like that. And price, the question I had was, is price going to drop the base rally, or is it going to drop base drop? And what we got was it dropped, and then it consolidated a bunch here. And then I thought, well, if it can sort of hit this area and then reject, but then break the second time with clean candles, then that was going to be my buy idea. But when it consolidated here and then it pushed lower, I was like, probably going to be the similar play as Monday. When it rejected that top and then it was coming down in quite a hurry, and you'll see like on the 1 minute candles when it was coming down. Like when it hit this zone, and then it just came down. That was like, we realized it was going to be a drop base, and then this is very likely it's going to break this low and then push down to some of these better levels that we had flagged. And that was it. So basically, this carbon copy trade of Monday got in down here. Price pushed down. Was able to take about 60 pips. Close majority, leave a runner. Runner got tapped out, unfortunately. Should have left it a little bit higher, but still 60 pips I was very pleased with, and it kept on pushing down and down and down and down. So now, did your Now's still here, but Now's, I think he had a runner from all the way up here. Very good, man. All right, so today now, what we have is, did any guys read what I posted in the Discord about potentially some profit taking on EU and European equities if we get a little bit of a bounce in US dollar. Did you guys read that?
No, I hadn't seen that. I'll have a look at it.
Yeah, it's on the Forex. So it was
There was a comment about the pound and the euro, wasn't there?
Yeah, in here. So at 2:47 my time, so that'd be what 11:47 Aussie time. But just have a little read about this. This is because it was a few weeks back. I was talking about the Dixie, and if we look at the monthly chart, what we've got is this. Remember we talked about like those triple wick areas, like where we've got 4 wicks here that all line up, and this zone was what, and before like see like it gathered itself here back in 2022, and then it just went on an almighty rally. So that area to me is a pretty decent area of demand. So this is a 3-year low as well, and you can see like just how like this red line, like a bit of resistance over here, support, little resistance. Price chops through it a bit, doesn't really hold that well there, but nice level, wick, and then triple wick area, and then it explodes higher. So I was thinking if it comes back to this zone, this would be, I think this was even on the 3-month. 3-month, it lines up pretty nicely. 12-month, the yearly candle, each one of these candles is a year. You see like our perfect neckline across here before it exploded up. So I had an alert here yesterday. Well, I had an alert here for a long time, for a few weeks now, that if it did get down to here, we could see US actually have potentially a bit of a bounce from here. And it tapped into it yesterday, and you can see like US dollar strengthened from that. And at the same time that we saw the strengthening, this is the same time that we saw EU have a bounce. Okay, so you got to think US dollar strengthening means EU goes down, and then at the same time we saw German equities, we saw them fall as well, and we saw US equities pump. So I'm wondering if we continue to see that US strength, if we continue to see US strength, are we? Because remember yesterday as well, what we said, or what I said was, if you're a US investor, you've benefited not only from European equity growth, but you've also benefited from the euro outperforming the US dollar. So you would have been sat 33% up for the year. Now, if we start seeing US dollar strengthen, what we're going to start seeing is, even if German 40 stayed flat, if we saw the US strengthen, that's going to if US strengthens against the EU just a couple percent, and we see German 40 have any sort of like threat from potential tariffs as well, because that deadline's coming up pretty soon. If German 40 just went down a couple percent and the US dollar went up a couple percent, then you would have investors that could be sat on 33% profit thinking that, ooh, could I trim some exposure here and lock in some profits? Because if US is going up and German 40 is going down, then they're getting hit two ways. So it's a good chance that potentially they will they'll just just lock in some profits. Been a good run. So it's kind of conflicting my ideas. Like yesterday, I can understand why we're selling, and then today, as much as we've seen like European growth, I am a little bit worried about that angle for longs. So Asia has actually done pretty well here, pushing up 160 pips, like a pretty solid Asia session. Now we could have some profit taking for the downside. Like, let me just flip this upside down so it makes it a bit easier to explain. Remember, we were saying about how if you close up into the highs of the day, how London will be a bit cautious, but we pushed up. Maybe the price didn't really close into the highs of the day, near the highs of the day. But Asia had a decent pullback, so London was like, okay, we take that and we just rally. And then now we've got we had a fairly similar looking day. Like, is this Monday and Tuesday are kind of eerily similar on how they look, aren't they? Monday and Tuesday was very much a similar playbook. Now Wednesday, sorry, we've actually come down. Like, I know this chart's inverted, but I'm just trying to like make sure I've got a clear idea, not just taking my bias into not trying to marry my bias. I'm trying to look at this to see, like, I've got two opinions. I've got a very bullish opinion, and I've got a fairly bearish opinion as well. Today, given that we've hit that Dixie level now, which kind of changes things from where we were at the start of the week. So we've got a little zone across here. We're kind of like, you can see, like, we've got a like here, and then New York session pushed up into it, and then Asia's bouncing from here. So if I was looking at this chart upside down, we've got a bit of a pickle on our hands, because we've got prices making lower highs, but then just in the last day or two, we've got price making higher lows. So I've kind of got like this wedge formation coming up on us. So which narrative is going to hold out? There's a narrative that potentially we see a little bit of US strength, and that could put a headwind on German 40, or are we just going to go with that German 40 company? Europe's still expanding massively fiscally, and is the long-term trend going to be the one that prevails, or are we just seeing a little bit of weakness here? Because levels, then this could be a good place for the lows of the week, and then the candle could then flip bullish and then eventually start taking off again. But now, with just a couple fundamental things on the horizon, I'm wondering how strong. I'm wondering if that was just too good to be true, and this is just either going to shake out buyers from last week, or is last week going to trick people into looking for buys, and institutions are going to be using that to sell into. What do you guys think? It's looking like it's turning negative already here. We pushed up eventually from the open.
I got the attitude for short.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't like the longs today. Must be truthful.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. I don't know if it's just going to be a bit rangy until tomorrow's news.
Yeah. My gut instinct would be saying that if I was an investor, US wise, I'd be taking some profits.
Yeah, I'll be taking money out.
Yeah, I'd be worried that this US weakness has gone on way too long, and we're just. I don't think.
Yeah.
I think we continue. I think the US continues weak for quite some time, but I feel like there's a lot of people talking about it now, with first half of the year in, people thinking there's a lot more attention on it. So when things get crowded, and the tariffs going up, and when things get overcrowded, it's usually not a good place to be. Okay, so we've got Asia as well. And gold worried me yesterday. Look at gold. Like, this is basically the straightest line I've ever seen on gold. Like, this is.
I've moved most pension stuff into cash at the moment.
Oh, yeah. Like this is that's basically a straighter line of like I've ever seen for such a sustained period. Oh, that's a big one.
I think I'm going to wait.
You're breaking up a lot, Sarah. Can going in and out. What can I say about US 30? Yeah, man, there was a crazy session yesterday on US 30. Crazy session. So it wasn't the like 631 pips. Like it was a crazy session compared to the previous sessions, but we did have a 600 and something pip day only a few days back as well. When was it? Down here. Oh, Monday last week. 650 pips. But I was kind of shocked. Just I don't know where it was coming from as well. I did take a short up here on US 30. It ended up being a break even. But where you see like these wicks, all these wicks that we've got up here. So when price pushed up into those wicks, I took a sell. Took a sell in these wicks just kind of blindly, because also I was like, well, NAS is going up, US 30 is going down. US 30 had gone up so high, so much. And I thought, well, maybe there's a chance it comes back. So I got the sell in, just a pen in order, hit a sell. It was about here somewhere. And then price pushed up. The stop loss is fairly high, above that zone. And then price came down, and my target was literally just, again, I was at the midwife appointment and then pick up Maddie afterwards. So I saw enough that price had come down, and I moved my stops to break even. And I was targeting just the New York Stock Exchange. Yeah, I was targeting here. That's about where I was targeting, to go from here down, given that price had pushed up so much. But yeah, that also turned into a break even. But it was like I was up quite a bit, like about halfway. But I didn't take any profit that time, because I've been taking profits a fair bit this week, partially. So the week's done pretty well. But this time I just thought I'd go for the full quota.
It is.
All right, so London's certainly coming down here.
Good then.
So Adelaide, you're in short. Yeah, is anyone else in short? You too, Michael? Cool. I'm not in anything yet. I was considering just jumping into shorts, but I felt like I'd just be that. It was a bit impulsive for me just to, like, I was thinking just about 5 minutes ago, should I do it? I was like, probably not. Probably should wait. Be a bit more calculated today. So it's only 8:15. So we're a bit oversold now on the stocky, and we've come down. We've taken just about Asia low. So this is the Tokyo low is really this candle. This one here, like this is really the Tokyo Open, or 1 o'clock UK time is the Tokyo Open. So Tokyo opened around here somewhere, and then pushed down, and then had this little quite a decent little wick that pushed up, came back down, created some structure. To the left of this zone, even though it's open, this is like, yeah, like pre Tokyo, like Sydney session. If we look at Pepperstone, you'll find that low, this would be the candle that Japan opened on. So on Pepperstone charts, we were just about taking that low. That's definitely an aggressive drive down. So institutions are selling. So the question is again, if institutions are selling, the longer we don't get a straight, if we get a straight line, if it just goes down like that, then nothing I can do. That my trading system just doesn't. I mean, my gambling system takes that into consideration, but my proper trading system, if I want to stick to my rules, doesn't facilitate entering trades in this somehow. So, where are my zones? Where are your zones as well, by the way, guys? So, one thing I struggled with yesterday, when it was up in here at the London Open, was I didn't really have a clear zone that I was trying to target. So I had this area that looked pretty good, and then we pushed down through that. We've got this zone, a bit more of a deeper structure, like this. That's a zone. I'll remove this one now. And this idea, I'm going to leave an alert on this one. Because when price is crossing this line, this one here, I'm sure the trade is to go to London high. So when we cross 23,900, whenever that date's going to be, I think you've got 100 pips to the upside. I don't treat this as a zone because this is very messy for me, but this is a bit more clear. Where price pushed up, create a resistance, come down, create support, and then pushed up and then out. And we've dipped into that. So now that we've dipped into it, and if we create a lower high and we push down, and we could easily fill this whole yellow space. So potentially this move has got more legs down. Another 230 pips. No, another 180 pips to the downside. But it won't be 180 pips, or unlikely be 180 pips further to the downside without pullbacks along the way. So there will be opportunities. I'm saying test the 23,600. So you're looking around here, just underneath this New York low, and we've got some structure here in the lower time frames where price consolidated before we had a bit of a push away, got a fair value gap. So that 23,600 lines up pretty nice. That's a pretty decent level that you've pointed out. Like clustered at the bottom, like a demand zone on the lower time frame at the bottom of this structure. So yeah, that makes sense. Anyone else got any other zones? So dailies did a nice little wick up higher. It's looking like it's going to pressure the lows of the day again. If I tidied it up on the 4-hour zone, you can really see like this little cluster that it sat perfectly on yesterday. Hey Tom. Kind of got this triple wick area here as well to see if price can actually stay underneath. On the 3-hour, it's not the same. On 3 hours, it's actually underneath here. So we're kind of testing. Yeah, so we definitely have that support around this Asia low. Yeah, man. What's Just have to see what we'll do here, because institutionally we pushed down 120 odd pips. So it's good. It's a very good move from London already, very early in. How did the stocks open, Michael? Looks like they've all opened up mostly. Rhine Metal down a little bit. Siemens Health down a little bit. SAP down a little bit. Has anyone taken a long shot?
No, I'm flat.
You're flat, yeah. Me too. Aussie 200 did a V shape, did it? So you're just looking at for a long. Yeah, you're just watching. Yeah, really. I'm really kind of unsure. So I'm just trying to see if, like, same as yesterday, that I think there was an opportunity that I missed, but that was because I just reined myself back in. That as price was pushing down, to me, I was like, oh man, kind of FOMO, could just jump into this for a quick sell. But I really didn't know where I'd be putting my target. I wouldn't know where I'd be putting my stop loss, apart from just arbitrarily above where my entry was. So just didn't really fit a plan. So yeah, I pulled myself back in from doing that, take a bit more of a calculated approach. And same as yesterday was that if I don't see it, like if I'm trying to come up with a trade idea, for example, with what's happened before the open, like looking at this, sometimes it's just not there. That, I mean, maybe someone else can see a trade opportunity from here, and that's great. But like, also if I feel like I'm just really forcing something and I can't see something with the price action that we've got, then I know that it's often that I just need to let the price action develop a little bit more before then something appears that makes sense for an opportunity. I just got to talk myself through these sometimes. So yesterday I was thinking if we can do a drop base rally. And this is looking like a decent break back up. We're at euro low at the moment. So we're kind of retesting this area. Bit overbought on the stocky. Coming back up into these areas. Hey Nish, welcome. So you just joined. Haven't missed anything yet. Haven't taken anything. It was a good move from the open. Adelaide and Michael caught it down, but a lot of us are still just flat. Let's check the headlines. Is there anything? Headlines also a bit mixed message yesterday. We had Powell saying they would have cut if not for Trump's policies, and then we've got Labor data that came in suggesting that there's no need for them to cut this month. So no real clues there.
Do you reckon have they kind of hit stagflation, you reckon?
Who, US?
Yeah.
No.
No?
No. Stagflation is rising inflation and rise in unemployment. But they've got
Okay.
their inflation's lowering, so no stagflation there. There were some things where it seemed like a little stagflationary. Like Powell actually came out and said some things that they anticipate higher inflation, and they've got unemployment's definitely rising. So that's stagflationary, but it's not stagflation. At the moment,
Yeah, okay.
he's more worried that there will be he's more worried that there will be rising inflation because of the tariffs, but he's the more I've been thinking about this, he's dead wrong on those tariffs being inflationary.
Yeah.
Like Trump's right.
Whoa, what? No.
I know. But the more I was thinking, like more I hear about people talking about inflation, like the inflation that they measure is like it's not gonna, like, a lot of the things that they measure, like one of the biggest components is housing, right? And it's called home owners equivalent rent, and that's what people. It's not even what rent is. It's actually what homeowners believe their home should be rented out as if they were going to rent it.
Yeah.
So it's just an opinion of homeowners, and homeowners often think, oh, well, if I was going to rent this house out, I'm going to try rent it for this much, and that's not necessarily going to be what the market would be, and that makes up about 40% of the CPI. And
That's crazy, isn't it, really? It's just like kind of, yeah, it's nuts. I was trying to explain that to someone today about inflation measures and how they measure inflation and that, and I was like, they don't even really, cost of food and all those kinds of things don't really come into it. That's what I said. It's mostly like housing and energy, isn't it?
no, food does come into it, but it's also food in California versus food in Indiana. It's very different. So it's very hard.
Yeah.
It's very hard for them to get a good measure. And like if homeowners rent is 40%, and homeowners rent is not going to be affected by tariffs, and the way that like if I can't if I can't afford something, it comes from somewhere else. Like, as in, there's the saying that you rob Peter to pay Paul. So if you can't afford some things in your grocery basket, you just substitute it somewhere else. So if eggs and all that kind of stuff goes up, then you can't afford the travel, for example. So you've got one that might be inflationary, but then air travel, which they also measure, will be going down because there'll just be no demand for that. So
Yeah.
it's very hard to measure inflation the way that they do it. And a lot of that stuff, like, there's no tariffs on plane tickets. There's no tariffs on your home for the homeowner's equivalent rent. So a lot of this stuff of tariff, all it's going to do is, as well as like if prices do go up for some things, it'll also be countered by people just not buying it. Like maybe they'll buy an alternative product, or maybe they just like won't buy. Like if I know roughly how much things are when I go grocery shopping, and I've got a few supermarkets I can go to, and if I see like some of these discretionary items that we buy, like there's a couple like types of biscuits that like we have like a couple of packets just for like after dinner, have a biscuit or something like that. And if I see it's full price, I'm like, no, I just won't buy it. I know it'll be on offer somewhere else, or I'll just get this other thing because I'm not really tied to these biscuits. I know that these like white chocolate biscuit things are nice, but they're not necessary. So if that is up, I'll just get something else. Or the fruit and vegetables, like I won't buy nectarines and peaches and apricots in winter. And if it's full price somewhere else, I'll just get another fruit. Like I'm not like as long as we've got some fruit, and that's the consumer power as well. People just won't buy things if prices goes up. So if tariffs do put a higher price on things, then it's just going to kill demand. And so it'll just always be offset by higher prices for things. Is just offset by how much people buy. And if people, producers can't, not producers, sorry, like shopkeepers can't sell things if no one wants to buy it after lower prices. So there could be a price shock where you get a sudden repricing of something with a tariff, but people just buy something else. So I don't think there's going to have this like price shock, price sort of like inflationary response to tariffs. I don't think the tariffs are going to come in anyway.
In a sense, and that's what Trump's working for, isn't it? Because he was like basically trying to support American companies. So, you know, at the end of the day, if it's mostly imported goods that are tariffed high, then obviously it makes buying US products a lot more attractive within the US, right? And that's such a huge market within themselves.
Yeah, but you've got to make these things. That's the thing. Is that it's these businesses that mass produce a lot of these goods. They can't just easily ship that over to the US. That's not the way trade's meant to be anyway. You know, the US's biggest export is US dollars because they're the global reserve currency. So US exports US dollars and they import goods. So in a way, the trade is balanced. It's just they're looking at goods rather than using the currency as a good.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're gonna kind of tempted to take a sell. Yeah, kind of tempted to sell this. See how this candle closes, but I'm tempted to sell down, similar to yesterday, just to eventually take out these lows. And I've got another level lower. So potentially we could be going down to here. I'm going to put a trade on, guys. I'm going to sell. Yeah, sold here. But yeah, that's just gone small because it is a shitty position. What I'll do is I'll remove risk if it takes its Asia low.
I wouldn't mind getting the buy there when it comes down.
Down to here.
Yeah, because on the 30-minute as well, there's loads of rejection around there.
Yeah, I mean it is.
Nice little buy down, sell down, but I'm gonna wait for the buy, I think.
Mm-hmm. And Maddie's in the last 5-6 days, she's completely changed.
Oh.
No, like horribly.
Oh, horribly. I thought you meant nice.
No, she's been horrible.
Got my little Maddie's graduation in a couple of weeks.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was with her, man. It's
She's disappointed she only got a 2-1.
yeah, I'm not sure if it's the new baby coming. but she was because we got her sleeping actually all right at home. It's not at home, in her bed. And quite a few nights she was just sleeping all through the night, or she'd wake up as well constantly. But I'd just go in the room and say, "It's okay, sleeping time, lie down," and she'd just literally just go straight, lie back down, just go straight to sleep. And now, then when it started getting hotter, she started complaining and being a bit uncomfortable in the room. Given that she started like throwing some tantrums, and she but then the tantrums are like getting longer and longer, and sometimes they're like she's like literally crazy, and just can't. There's nothing you can like. Literally nothing to do. Go for like an hour, and now in the last like few days, this is not looking too good. In the last few days, it's just now like it was like one tantrum a day, and now it was getting multiple, and now it seems that it's more tantrum than normal, and I'm like getting so terrified of anything upsetting her, but she just goes into this like she just flips out. You probably hear it now in the background. I can barely control her. Oh, this coffee range, man. Yesterday, got her home from nursery around. Time I got home was about 5:30, and from between 5:30 and about 9:45, I think there's about 30 to 40 minutes of her being calm, and the rest of the time was her just being tantrum, like absolutely just freaking out. But all she'll do is like she'll go.
It doesn't last forever. You'll get through it. It's hard now, but it doesn't last forever.
Yeah, I was trying to see is this normal? And I know it's not like tantrums are normal, but they were saying like the frequency of this is not normal. I'm gonna cut this one. This one's not looking very good, so it's gonna cut out.
I'm going to take your stop. I'm going in long.
Yeah, I'm out. Just close it there. So she's like the frequency of this tantrum and the amount of times, like literally like about three hours of tantrum in a 4.5 hour period was not normal. Sounds like she's seriously having a lot of trouble, like struggling to regulate her emotions. And so they said like maybe she's just chronically overtired, and that's something like we try to put her to sleep early, but she just will not go to sleep. She just stays up. So they're saying like it's just desperate to try to get her in bed before 7:30 at night. But like
my sister-in-law had the same trouble. Her daughter's 3 years old now, and they literally have had my brother and sister-in-law have had no time to themselves. And when we were when I was in America, when I went to Boston recently, my daughter she's in her 20s and she has the same, and she bought some melatonin. And you can get melatonin for babies and kids. I don't know if you know that. You just give them a tiny, tiny dose, and it regulates their sleep.
Oh, okay. I'll look into
that. Have a look into it. But my sister-in-law's done that now, and they've got their lives back, because they were literally. She was a right pain in the arse for going to bed, and like obviously my brother and sister-in-law were just like at each other because they're not getting any sleep and no evening. And since they've given that to her, she's fine now.
Right.
You're right, Sarah. Yeah, Hayden, she's 100% correct, man.
The Medico,
I use it.
Look into it. Do you use it?
Yeah, I do for the
Yeah.
girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just a couple of things to add to that. First of all, you can get it on iHerb if you're familiar
Yeah,
with
I heard
iHerb.
you can get over here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just get the kids one.
Yeah, that's
And
it.
then the other thing is just don't do it every night, just to avoid a bit of
Yeah.
dependency.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I said to my brother. I said, don't do it every night. But they literally, what they had to do, Hayden, was she was such a cow. They would drive around for like 2 hours at night. My sister-in-law would have to go in, then she would get up. My brother couldn't go in there. She'd have kick off another tantrum, and of course she's getting herself more and more tired. And then she's being a rat bag in the day. But since she's had that, it's like a different girl.
Yeah.
And she's almost 3, so similar sort of, maybe a little bit older, but they've been going through it for years.
Yeah, Maddie's only 20 months.
Yeah, but look into it.
And if she wakes up a lot, do you use the white noise machines?
Yeah, we've got that going.
Yeah, I find that really helpful because otherwise
it's the heat,
it blocks out.
Yeah, it's the heat.
The heat, yeah.
There's always been
the heat.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, she'll enjoy moving back to Australia, won't she?
Oh yeah. When we travelled in Australia, she hated it. And when we go to Portugal, she hated it.
Oh really?
Yeah. I thought like maybe chloroform, something like that, maybe would help as well.
Yeah. Why stop there?
Have a rag sitting above the bed.
Mate, you just got to go old school and get on the Fennegans.
Yeah, Finnegan's, yeah.
Yeah, mate. Finnegan's in a bit of rum.
Mate, they gave that to me when I was a baby, Finnegan. Do you not?
My mother gave it to me as well.
Yeah.
They gave it to all of us. Look, we're legends. Look at us.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what's wrong with me.
That's why we're all trading.
All right, can I give this a second shot? Maybe I was a bit premature here because actually they were over. I'm going to give it a second shot, yeah.
That's good because I actually didn't close mine. I was like, bugger it. It's that close to my stop loss. I might as well just let it hit it.
Yeah, I mean, I did make a boo-boo in that what I realized was I actually sold when we're oversold. I sold.
Oh, yeah.
That was a misstep on my behalf. Anyway, the position was small, as in it was I'm not too sure. So if I can get in on a smaller position, just cut it if it's not looking good, get back in it if it's looking good, and then if it can start pushing down, and get a position that's in profit, I'll add another position if we're breaking these lows, and then the midpoint would roughly be like there. So I can actually have this position in profit, but pretty low risk, and then if I can add weight to it, and then if it does come back up, it's a way of scaling in, adding volume without just going all in at the first level.
Yeah.
Well, getting oversold again, so I probably should have gotten a little bit higher. But when I was cutting that trade, I didn't want to jump in immediately again. Okay, come on, drop you sucker. I'm gonna have to see how this one goes. I'm gonna have to get going very soon. Sarah's not having a good time. Maddie's been non-stop now for an hour. Come on, just fall for everyone's sake, except for Sarah's sake.
Except for mine.
Go and take out Sarah's stop loss.
Yeah, where's your stop loss, Sarah? Oh, now you're on US 30 cells. Quite a bit of spread than DAX. Chassis to read.
It's just a bit choppy, isn't it, really? It's nothing really.
Yeah, I can see it.
I feel like I'm trying to play a range today.
Yeah. It's not... my ideas are real conflicted here.
Yeah. I think higher time frames at the moment are better with all this shit going on.
The
Starting
volume,
to maybe break
yeah,
this range.
the volume's lower this week as well. Just bear in mind because we've got NFP tomorrow and we've got July 4th on Friday.
Yeah.
So markets are closed. So probably there's a lot of people that actually not even on this week whatsoever.
Well, thankfully, I took that on a demo, not my real one, which I'm glad. So it's going the wrong way.
Come on. Let's push down another 10 odd pips. Actually, the real low is over here. It's a bit further. So another 20 pips. Come on.
Don't do that. I don't like that.
Go on, go up.
Oi, I'm not on a demo.
But I did realise I had put NAS, which is when I said, "Oh, I put that on the demo," and then I was like, "Oh shit, I put NAS on. I forgot about that one." Might have to cut the NAS in a minute.
Did you go long on NAS?
Yeah, it looks a really good sell now, so just from that daily pivot.
Hey, actually, oh yeah, inside bar, huh? If we can close below this sucker, it'd be very good.
Yeah. If price able to close below that area, I think we will drop. But if price just taken out the low and closing bullish one, I think we will be coming back to the upside then.
Well, hopefully that's the former. Close below. Come on.
Just reverse my position on NAS. That's going down.
So all of us are pushing it down now. Oh, come on.
Yeah, it's going down.
Guys, I'm gonna have to sort out maybe. So I just can't. Too pregnant to handle her. Sorry guys, I'm gonna cut this one short. I'm gonna leave the trade running, but I've got to go. Hopefully it just does everything we need. Just don't need to look at it. If it pushes up here, takes my stop, then it's gonna take my stop. But I've got to run. So let's see if this one can work out. If we can break these lows, my plan is to remove risk at this point. Okay, just because I don't want it to really come back on me. If it takes out that low, I don't really want to deal with the potential rejection, because this is a decent area. But I'm looking for it. Hopefully, it can push into this yellow zone. Okay. But,
Thanks, Hayden.
yeah, sorry guys.
No worries.
Cheers, Hayden.
I'll be back though, Danny, and Simon. I'll be back as soon as I can get her to nursery. So
Okay, mate.
no dramas for everything else, but yeah.
If everyone wants to continue, I can throw up a link.
Oh,
Yeah, if you want to do that.
Yeah, please.
Another 40 minutes.
Yeah.
I'll chuck it in the chat.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks, mate.
Thanks so much,
We
Ty.
can all jump on.
Yeah. Sorry,
Thanks,
guys.
Hayden.
Really
See you guys.
bloody-
No worries.
Yes.
Okay.
Or
guys.
Sarah
Yeah.
can share her screen. Let the
Yeah,
screen
I'll
run.
show you
Market
mine.
maker.
See
All right. See you guys. Bye bye.
you.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
See ya.